I have some great news. The Strong Men of Value Academy applications are open. So from the 10th of June until the 27th of June, we are taking new applications for members like you to join our Strong Men of Value Academy. Who's it for? It's for men who have an understanding of what they want from their life and they need accountability, tips, tools, and tricks to increase your productivity to achieve the goals that you're working towards. We all know that goals are milestones to creating the life that you want to live. So if you are ready to be surrounded by some awesome like-minded men, meet weekly to be held accountable towards the goal that you want, please apply and you'll receive a phone call from me directly. If you're wondering if this is still the right fit for you, what I would recommend, if you don't have a life's vision and something that you're working towards creating, go check out our self-discovery program first. That will help you build out your life's vision, get a huge list of goals that you know you need to tick off in order to build that life, and then the Academy will be a better fit for you. I look forward to reading your applications, and once again, thank you for supporting the podcast. At the start of 2024, I've had to get really honest with myself. Over the last 10 years, I have been working for myself, and it's something that I'm truly grateful for. It has been one of the best personal and professional development journeys ever. And having worked in the self-development space and predominantly starting out in network marketing, moving into men's coaching, to then starting to work with businesses, and now, I guess, growing into what I'm about to talk about today and how it can help you guys in that whole journey of what that looks like. There are many uncomfortable phases that you have to let go of what you originally thought about yourself. And I've been holding on to the identity of myself being the men's coach, and more importantly, the men's mental health coach, because I'm very passionate about helping men live their best life and I guess get clear on what that looks like. And why is because that has been my journey. You know, I originally set a goal to transform my life. I didn't like where I was. I didn't like who I was. And I was just looking for something better. And over the years, I've spoken a lot about mindset. I talk a lot about fitness. I talk a lot about community, which are all important pillars. One thing that I've steered clear from is the entrepreneurial side of things, which has actually been a very crucial part in my own journey. And I guess to be transparent, the reason why I haven't wanted to talk about it is I didn't want to be a business coach. I didn't want to coach coaches or creators or anything like that, because my mission has been to help men, or to provide insights, educations, and communities to help men build the life that they want to live. And at the start of the year, a lot of the problems in my life, or the things that I'm excited about right now, aren't as heavily focused around the mental health space. I feel personally, because my mental health has been in a really good position for such a long time, and I have an idea of what I believe has put me in that position and what is giving me those results. And business and working for myself has been a massive part. So if you listen to this show and, like me, you love the idea of having control over your time, meaning you can do what you want, you can work from where you want, just, you know, you can really design your ideal day, and that's what you get to live. And also finances, meaning you can control, I guess, what you're worth and how much you earn, because financial stress ruins a lot of people, and people have lives that they aren't necessarily excited by. I know the number is over 70% of people aren't happy in their careers. And that can be for a number of reasons. They're overworked, they're underpaid, they don't have control over their schedule. There's a number of reasons for that. But what I tend to think about there is there's a problem there. What is the solution? And the solution for me, or the best solution that I've come across, is working for yourself. And it's why I am doing things differently in the Focus Success system that I am launching soon. The waitlist is open. You can head to the website to join that waitlist, but it will be going through Life's Vision. I'm going to give you a bit of a rundown through this episode, because I believe if you don't want to do the course, but you want to start making progress, then I'm going to give you some cool tips here of my journey and things that I did and what I would do differently with the things that maybe need to change around that. But I've built a course because there's so much information on the internet and you can go find stuff on YouTube. But for some of you who are maybe time poor or just want to get straight to the punchline, then this course is laid out to do that. The cool thing is there's only one module there that I want you to do first. The rest of them you can do in whatever order interests you the most or you feel has the most or brings the most pain to your life, right? We want to solve and overcome that pain. So the first module is really basing it around creating that vision and the goals. And you may be sick of hearing me talk about it. If you don't have a vision for your life, someone else will sell you into theirs and you may not like it. And that works for goals as well. If you don't set goals, you'll become part of the plan for other people's goals, meaning you'll work for people. They will control your time. They will pay you what they think you're worth. And that may not align to the life that you want to live. So I can't emphasize enough the importance of setting that vision that aligns with your core values and then building and setting your goals to achieve that. Now, a bit of an overview on the vision part. So obviously the vision, the way I break it down, and I used to only say, hey, you got to go super detailed with it. But what I'm starting to realize is a lot of people have a lot of information, but they're still not acting upon it. So the goal of this is to help you minimize the time between the idea and what you want to achieve and executing on that, right? It's not necessarily always a knowledge problem for a lot of people. It's just the information in between. So if you've never set a vision or if you're someone who hasn't taken action on that, keep it very simple, right? The vision, a very simple vision could be, I just want to have time and financial freedom by 2030, for example. So 6 years away. Okay, so the next step with your goals is establishing what that looks like. What does time freedom look like for you? What does that ideal day look like for you? And the same with what does financial freedom look like that probably supports that time freedom? What is the number? And you may not know for certain, but we're creating direction here. Let's say it's $100,000. Awesome. When you then start working back, you've now got two things that you need to consider when you're making decisions. Is the opportunity that I have presented to me, is that going to tick both the time freedom box and also the financial freedom box? So the $100,000 and I get to design my day. And this was a similar goal to what I once set. So it's the reason why I think about things from a big picture and they have to tick all the boxes, because when you think about how you can make $100,000, there's plenty of ways, right? You can work for someone, you could start a business, you could start a cafe, you could do whatever. And some of those options are going to tie you to a location and they are going to require you to have set working hours, which means, is that part of your ideal day? Maybe it is, but also maybe it's not. And so you get to go through this whole process. And on module 2 of the Focus Success System, I help you go through that. So I'm not here to help you build the business. I haven't, I guess, got into that yet. And maybe it's something I'll do in the future. But what I know to be true with having worked with publicly listed companies, lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs, creators, that we all have to go through our own decision-making process to get clear on what that could look like for us. And then we're presented or we reach the outcome of the potential opportunities for us. Then we need to decide on one of those opportunities. And module 2 is really about diving into that. So if we look at it from obviously what entrepreneurship is, actually I'm jumping the gun here. Let's go back. We'll come to module 2 in a second. But from that vision and goal setting stuff, I'll also talk to you about why I believe 12-week game plans are so important and they're the best milestone. So your goals should align to the big picture. And I like having 12-week blocks because it's consistent. Right? If you just allow the goal to determine the outcome, some goals could be long-term. And for most people, there isn't enough urgency and the motivation dies off, which means they don't achieve it. If you set a goal and you know it's going to be a 12-week block, you might have to break a specific goal that may be a little bit bigger down into a milestone. So the example could be, I want to launch a business. Let's just assume this is January as this is coming out. It's not, but let's just pretend for the example. by the end of this year, I want to have my own online business and I want to have signed my first 10 clients at $1,000 a client. At the moment, you have no idea what the client is going to be, what your service or program is going to be, or even a business name, right? Or a business idea. So if we were to say, hey, can you do that in 12 weeks? Most people would say, yeah, let's do that. That's the goal. That's ambitious. But they don't take into consideration other things. You may be working a job, have a family, be spending time at the gym, have a holiday coming up. So you're setting yourself up to fail. What we then do is look at the time available to you and go, okay, that's a long-term goal. That's a 12-month goal or maybe even a 2-year goal. What has to happen first that we could set into a 12-week block? The 12-week block we could set is to have the business set up, have the service or product developed with the email support and systems in place to deliver a great program. And then that's goal number one. And then you can go goal number two, which may be second quarter, is let's develop a launch and a marketing plan and have a few people test the product or service to get some testimonials and feedback so that by the third quarter or fourth quarter when you launch, you're now ready to rumble and you've made progress. So that's what I would consider to be great goal setting. It aligns with a bigger value, but you can also differentiate between long-term goals and also short-term goals. So sorry, that we dive heavily into that in module 1. And for those of you who are going, okay, well, the focus success system, I want to take complete control. I am interested in building my own thing. I want to get clear on what that is. But why do we keep talking about vision? Because if you don't have the vision, chances are you will get into a financial vehicle that doesn't give you what you want. And then you may feel trapped. And that's not a position that I ever wanted to be in. And it's not a position that I would want anyone else to be in. So starting with that vision work is crucial for anything that you do. If you don't have a vision, I would just highly recommend just doing that, right? Even if you take that away today. So module 2 is where I'm going to be diving into. I haven't thought of a title for it yet. This is still about 10 days away from launching. But the entrepreneurial vehicle, right? Getting clear on it. So understanding what entrepreneurship is. If you look at entrepreneurship on the internet and the definition, I disagree with it. I believe an entrepreneur is someone who creates and manages a business and solves problems for other people. And it says that it is of greater than normal financial risks to do so. I disagree with that. With technology, AI, single person businesses being so readily available to so many people, the overheads and the risk is quite low. Now, there are pros and cons to high overheads and high risks from a commitment standpoint. I generally think when more people have skin in the game, they really got to hustle to make it work. When something like even how I started my business was low overhead and low risk, I didn't have to fork out a lot of capital to get started. It also meant that if it wasn't working, I could just sort of peel off and no one would notice, right? I wouldn't lose too much. So there are pros and cons and they're important to consider. So things we're going to go through in this module is like exploring the opportunities. So like the pathways, and I'll give you some real life examples, things that I tried, things that I discovered. We'll also then move into another one about evaluating that. So giving you a template to go through that you can evaluate what are going to be the best options for you. What are your areas of interest? What ties in and aligns with your value? And then how do you choose the right path? How do you make the decision to get started? And as I spoke about before, for me, the idea is removing that friction, right? The time between making the decision and doing the thing and actually doing it. So what does that look like and how can we do that? So an example, a barrier for most people is the finances. I don't have, 20 grand to buy products for e-commerce to then start my online store. Okay, so that's a barrier. Do we want to work on that barrier and work towards that? Is that a micro goal? Or do we pivot and look at something else that's lower capital to start? So we can go through all of that in the focus success system. And like I said, if you feel this is going to be something that is beneficial to you and building the life that you want, join the wait list or at least join my email list and you'll be notified once it's ready to go live. The third module is the management system. So there's a quote by James Clear, where he's like, we don't fall to the level of our, and I'm going to butcher this, but we don't fall to the level of our, uh, maybe it's not even James Clear now that I'm saying it, but it's like of our habits, but we fall to the levels of our systems, which are essentially habits, right? Strategies to achieve a specific outcome. So within the management system, all of the stuff that I teach in this course is not you have to do it my way. I want to share with you my way, but I want to share why I do it and the things that I considered while doing it so that then you can make it your own, right? A time management or a management system, whether it's your relationship management, whether it is your business management, whether it is your fitness management, your life management, you can personalize it because it's unique to you and you need to do what delivers the results for you, not just what other people say. Because if I did everything everyone else told me to do, I probably would not be in this position. I've taken the best pieces, trialed it, gained feedback, modified it, and now I've found what works well for me. So, three key things that we're going to be diving into in the management, which you can then put into any area and really make your own, is going to be time management, okay, is going to be task management, and is going to be eliminating distraction. So the importance of time management is prioritization and making sure that you're actually scheduling time to do the tasks which you will identify in task management. Now, when you have a vision, when you have goals, when you have something you're working towards, there's going to be key tasks that need to be achieved in order to deliver that outcome. In order for you to be able to do those key tasks, you must manage your time effectively and efficiently in order to be able to do that. And that's where management and systems come into play. And obviously, eliminating distractions, I want to run through like not only what that means and a bit of a checklist, but I'm going to show you how I do it all through my phone. So, same with the time and task management. I use Apple, but you can use it on Microsoft Teams. You can use it with. Sorry, my throat's really sore. You can use it with any platform. I'm sure Android phones as well. But from that, you'll be able to set it up in your phone so that you can outsource from your mind, not needing to carry everything around in your mind and feel overwhelmed and anxious. But you'll be able to outsource it to your phone and have your checklists, have your reminders to make sure you're doing the things when you said you were going to do them in the order of priority of getting those done. Now, finally, the final module, what we dive into, which is really important as well, is that an entrepreneurial and growth mindset. You can have plans, you can have goals, you can have visions, you can have a business, but if you don't grow your mind and grow who you are, you're going to hit a lot of roadblocks and you're going to remain stuck. The idea of a fixed mindset being that you don't believe you're in control of changing your outcomes and improving versus the entrepreneurial or growth mindset, meaning that you believe you can solve problems. There are resources available to achieve those outcomes, right? So the best way I ever understood it was Lachlan in 2014 was not the Lachlan that I needed to be in order to have the business and the life that I wanted. So I needed to go on a growth journey. And that, I talk about it with business. Business was one of the greatest tools because I knew the biggest goal and the most meaningful goal that I had at this time, and it may be different to you guys, but was time and financial freedom. And I knew that by doing that, I would have more time to exercise and do all of those sorts of things. But what I learned over time was the healthier I was, the better my business would be. The better my marriage was, the better my business would be. So not only did I learn to grow toward time and financial freedom, I also learned to go, how do these all integrate and how are these all connected and how do I manage my time so that these areas are all improving? And that's an area where a lot of people struggle. It's the reason why people end up achieving their financial goals or their career goals, but they're divorced, they don't have a relationship with their children, or they're just extremely overweight, stressed, and the quality of life is not good. So we run through all of that growth mindset stuff. Mindset is crucial. Stress management, resilience, and cultivating positive habits. So I'm excited for that to come out. I'm really unpacking it. I think the most important thing for me with this one is it's really authentic to my journey, and I'll be sharing why, what, and how, but also not jamming you need to do this down your throat. I am sharing my frameworks, of course, that I use, but I also want to give you things that I considered to develop those ones. So that way, if the framework doesn't necessarily jump out at you, you can at least have some of the reference points that help me form those frameworks so that you can then take ownership of those and go, hey, I like the idea that in order to track my goals, I need to consider what are my daily tasks. I need to have a calendar. I need to have one big weekly goal. Like, I like those things, but I'd also like to sprinkle this in. And if that's the case, then you just get to build out your own framework, which makes it unique to you. And now you're taking ownership and responsibility. So that is the focus success system. And once again, the reason why it's so important for me to get it out there is their business side, or having that time and financial freedom, has been such a pivotal and crucial part in my success across all areas. And had I not embarked on that journey, I don't believe I would be where I am. I can say, hey, yeah, I would have read all the mindset books, the relationships books, and all of that, but I don't know whether I would. Like, the biggest motivator was achieving those things and solving that pain problem. And it made me recognize that if I wanted to have an incredible business, I needed to become an incredible version of myself, which meant I had to have the best marriage. I had to have my best health. I had to have social connections, and I had to have hobbies and adventures as well. And a lot of people don't recognize that. So I can guarantee you, when this goes live, it'll be one of the programs or courses that I am most proud about. If you have any questions, make sure you hit me up. But like I said, if you not interested in it, I would at least start considering those points. So just to give you an overview of that, once again, the things that it's going to be in that course is going to be thinking about your vision and goals. Then you're going to move down into the entrepreneurial, like what's your vehicle to create the life that you want to live, your management systems to be able to maintain that and continue to grow, and then your mindset system. So if you got value from this episode, make sure you hit the subscribe button, share it with a buddy. And if you do want to contact me directly, head to Instagram or head over to the website and you can flick me an email. My name's Lachlan Stuart. As always, do something today to be better for tomorrow. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachie Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.